Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
Anna brings Morgan back to Port Charles, shocking secret revealed. There are moments in Port Charles when the clouds gather in strange shapes, when the breeze carries whispers of long-buried truths, and when the very air seems to tremble as if preparing to baptize the town in revelation. That was the energy hovering over General Hospital the morning Anna Devane finally brought Morgan Corinthos back. A man presumed dead. A ghost resurrected. A secret years in the making suddenly standing in the light, trembling, frightened, but alive. Anna had always been a warrior, one who understood that life often demanded uncomfortable rebirths, cleansings that came not from peaceful waters but from turbulent storms. And today she walked into Port Charles with the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths pressing on her shoulders. She had prepared herself for joy, rage, confusion, heartbreak, and forgiveness. She had rehearsed encouraging words for Sonny. She had braced for Carly's fury. She had steeled her heart for Michael and Jocelyn's shock. But no amount of mental preparation could soften the magnitude of the moment when Morgan stepped out from behind her and set foot inside the town that had mourned him, cursed his name, prayed for his soul, and buried his memory. Inside GH, the staff froze. The hallways stiffened. Like a baptismal hush fell over the entire building. A man who had been gone for years, claimed by tragedy, swallowed by grief, now stood wrapped in shadows and uncertainty. Anna whispered to him, "Stay close to me. People will react in every direction, some encouraging, some vicious, some overwhelmed. But you are here. And being here is the beginning." Morgan nodded, but his hands trembled. His eyes flickered with pain, hesitation, and guilt. To return was to reopen wounds he had caused. He knew he carried sins like weights chained to his spirit. But he also knew Anna had fought for him, had rescued him from the nightmare he had been trapped in. She believed in redemption. She believed in truth. And she believed that rebirth required courage. At the same moment across town, Sonny Corinthos stepped into his penthouse, phone in hand, speaking softly to the guards about updates on Ava, on the pikeman dealings, and on the ever-shifting threats circling the city. He had no clue that his world was about to be turned inside out. No idea that Anna was marching toward him with a revelation explosive enough to shatter him. In the Carly-Nina-Ava triangle, tension hung like icicles. Lies, grudges, and resentments were poised to snap at the slightest nudge. And they would all snap when Morgan resurfaced. But before any of the chaos unfolded, Anna made one brief stop, General Hospital's chapel. A small room where countless Corinthos prayers had been whispered. A room soaked with memories of Morgan's funeral. She stepped inside and told him softly. "This room was built for moments when the world feels too heavy. Today will be heavy. But you're not alone. Consider this the place where the baptism of truth begins." Morgan's voice cracked. "Do you think they'll hate me?" Anna's gaze softened. "Some may. But others will remember your heart. And the truth, no matter how brutal, must be spoken." Those words were meant to encourage him, but they also served as a warning. Because she knew the secret he carried could set the entire city ablaze. When she finally walked Morgan toward the main entrance, the automatic doors slid open with a mechanical gasp, almost like the building itself was shocked to see him. And standing there, frozen in disbelief, was Carly. Her purse dropped. Her jaw fell open. Her breath hitched so violently that the air left her lungs like a scream swallowed too quickly. "Morgan?" Carly whispered, barely audible, as though speaking too loudly might break the fragile miracle before her. Morgan stepped forward, voice trembling. "Mom." And Carly collapsed into tears, tears of gratitude, tears of trauma, tears of a mother who had buried a son who was never dead at all. She clutched him, sobbing, her body shaking. Anna lowered her head, giving them space. But as beautiful as the moment was, it lasted only seconds before the first crack of trouble appeared. Because Sonny had just walked in. His expression shifted in slow motion, shock paralyzing him, then hope rising like a flame, then suspicion settling like frost on his features. He stared at his son, alive, breathing, standing in front of him. "Morgan?" Sonny choked out. Morgan turned. "Dad. I'm home." And then everything inside Sonny erupted. "Where the hell have you been? Who took you? Why didn't you call? Why didn't you come home?" Carly tried to calm him. Anna tried to intervene. But Sonny was spiraling, rage, grief, guilt, and relief colliding violently. Morgan raised a hand. "Dad, listen. I didn't choose to disappear. I was taken. Manipulated. Controlled." "By who?" Sonny roared. Anna stepped forward, voice steady. "That's what I brought him here to explain. Because what happened to Morgan wasn't an accident. It wasn't fate. It was engineered." Sonny froze. "What do you mean, engineered?" Morgan swallowed hard. His eyes glistened. He had dreaded this part the most. "They drugged me," he whispered. "They tampered with my medication. They kept me hidden. They told me my family abandoned me." Carly gasped. Sonny's fists clenched so tight they trembled. Anna continued quietly, "Morgan wasn't dead. He was held captive. They needed him for leverage, for manipulation, for experiments involving behavioral control." Sonny's voice cracked like thunder. "Tell me who did this." Morgan avoided his father's eyes. Carly's voice shook. "Morgan, sweetheart, tell us." The room fell silent. Then Morgan said the name. And the name detonated the entire hallway. Because it wasn't an enemy. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a mob rival. It was someone Port Charles trusted. Someone respected. Someone powerful. Sonny's fury exploded so violently that even Anna stepped back. "You expect me to believe they did this?" he shouted. Morgan insisted, "It's true. They held me. They lied to me. They tested on me like I was nothing." Sonny growled, "I will burn this town to the ground if that's real." Anna stepped between them. "Sonny, this isn't the moment for vengeance. Let the truth be revealed before you ignite a war." But Sonny wasn't listening. His mind was already unraveling, racing toward revenge. Encouraging words couldn't touch him now. Only fury lived in him. Then, chaos struck. Because Michael, Jocelyn, Nina, Ava, and even Jason converged on the hospital in a storm of confusion, each demanding answers, each broken by the sight of Morgan alive. Jocelyn shrieked with joy and heartbreak, gripping Morgan tightly, refusing to let go. Michael stood shocked, tears spilling silently as he whispered, "I should have looked harder. I should have never given up." Ava collapsed against the wall, the weight of her past with Morgan crushing her, guilt strangling her like a vice. Nina froze in horror, realizing the ripple effect this would create across every family in Port Charles. Jason stepped forward, expression unreadable, demanding from Anna the truth with a soldier's cold precision. The hallway became a battlefield of emotions. Morgan finally shouted through the noise. "Stop." And the room went still. His voice was hoarse, cracking, broken. "Stop fighting. Stop screaming. Stop blaming each other. Listen." He drew a shaky breath. "The person who took me didn't just want leverage. They wanted to break me. They wanted to rewrite my mind. They wanted to erase who I was." His voice cracked deeper. "And they almost succeeded." Carly broke into sobs again. Sonny's anger faltered, replaced by the crushing weight of horror. Jason's eyes narrowed, understanding instantly the darkness of brainwashing. Jocelyn kept whispering, "I'm here, Morgan. I'm here." Anna stood tall, a sentinel guarding the fragile truth as Morgan continued. "I didn't come back just to reunite with you. I came back because what they were doing, they're planning to do it to someone else." Nina stiffened. Ava's eyes widened. Jason's jaw tightened like granite. Sonny snapped, "Who?" Morgan shook his head. "I can't say it here. Not yet." They're watching. They're listening. Anna placed a reassuring hand on his arm. We'll take you somewhere safe. But Sonny exploded. Safe, he shouted. My son was tortured for years, drugged, imprisoned, brainwashed, and you want safe? No. I want justice. I want blood. Carly grabbed his arm. Sonny, please, don't lose control. He snarled, don't ask me to calm down when my son was held captive by people pretending to be allies. Anna stepped forward, trying again to control the rising inferno. Sonny, listen to me, revenge now only makes Morgan a target again. We need caution. Strategy. Patience. But Sonny pointed a shaking finger at her. You brought my son home just to tell me to be patient? You want me to sit quietly while the monster who did this walks free? No, Anna. No more patience. No more holding back. Morgan stepped forward, tears burning down his cheeks. Dad, please. Don't make this worse. Sonny froze. Those words, spoken with such raw pain, pierced him. Morgan continued. I didn't survive all these years just to watch you lose yourself. I didn't fight my way back to watch you burn down everything. I came back because the truth needs sunlight, not fire. Anna exhaled shakily, grateful for Morgan's strength. But the storm was far from over. Because as they prepared to leave the hospital, a voice echoed down the corridor, a voice dripping with venom, a voice that should not have been there at that moment. I see the rumors were true. Everyone turned sharply. And standing at the end of the hallway, with a smirk that could slice steel, was the very person Morgan feared the most. The person responsible. The person who had orchestrated the nightmare. Morgan stumbled backward, terror overtaking him. Carly gasped. Jocelyn froze. Sonny's eyes ignited with lethal rage. Anna immediately positioned herself in front of Morgan. And the villain smiled, stepping forward slowly, mocking them all. Well, well. Morgan Corinthos. Alive. And still dramatic as ever. Sonny lunged, but Jason held him back, barely. Anna growled, stay back. The villain shrugged casually. Why? The boy's alive. Isn't this a happy reunion? You should be thanking me. I preserved him. Carly's voice twisted in horror. Preserved? You kidnapped him. You broke him. Morgan shouted, you lied to me. You tortured me. The villain calmly replied. I refined you. Your instability made you predictable. I simply gave your mind structure. Sonny erupted again, voice cracking like an earthquake. I will destroy you. And the villain smiled wider. There it is. The anger I expected. Anna raised her gun. Jason mirrored her. Orderlies scattered. Patients ducked. Jocelyn clung to Morgan, who trembled violently. The villain lifted their hands mockingly. I'm unarmed. Today is not about threats. Today is about revelation. Sonny spat, revelation? The villain nodded. Yes. Because Morgan wasn't the only one I took. Everyone froze. Morgan choked on his breath. No, please, don't say it. But the villain did. The next name spoken sent shockwaves through the hospital. Gasps. Screams. Collapsing bodies. Anna staggered back, eyes widening in horror. Jason's face went pale. Carly screamed as though the world cracked in half. Sonny nearly collapsed. And Morgan? Morgan sobbed, shaking uncontrollably. Because that name. That second victim. That second soul manipulated. That second life rewritten. Was someone none of them expected. Someone whose disappearance had been explained, justified, rationalized. Someone they believed had moved away, changed careers, or cut ties. But no. They had been taken too. Held captive. Controlled. Just like Morgan. And Anna whispered the words that shattered Port Charles. This changes everything. General Hospital observers are dying to see some characters back in Port Charles. On our list of 7 are 3 women, 4 men. And many of them are dead. But as you know, death is no way in handicap to a return on GH. These comebacks would really shake effects up in Port Chuck. General Hospital most missed characters. Let's get right to it. The first character I want to talk about is a youthful man who's dead but mentioned fairly constantly and is missed veritably much by his parents, Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer. We're talking about Morgan Stone Corinthos. Indeed, though he failed back in 2016 because of a auto lemon meant for Julian Jerome, suckers have constantly asked for his rejuvenation and return. We did catch a regard of Brian Craig in a couple of returns, formerly in a dream and formerly as a ghost when Sonny was suicidal a couple of times agone. Since Morgan's body was no way set up and Brian Craig said he'd love to come back to GH, it's completely possible. I suppose suckers would be overjoyed along with Carly and Sonny and his siblings Michael, Christina, and Jocelyn, who still talk about Morgan all the time, especially around the leaves. It would really shake effects up for Ava, who of course had a romantic relationship with Morgan and was incompletely responsible for his death. Just a quick note, I got to solicit Brian Craig right after he left General Hospital. And he was the nicest Joe. So polite, kind of shy, just a real squeeze. He really impressed me. Nicholas Cassadine, the legacy prince awaiting his comeback next over, is a character who's veritably important alive but behind bars, Laura Spencer's other son, Nicholas Cassadine. He's a heritage seed and a addict fave. Of course, observers will always miss Tyler Christopher, who began the part and tragically passed in real life. Now we've got Adam Huss in the part, but we haven't seen him since last time when Lulu demanded a liver patron. For a while, Nicholas was going dark, but he sounded to unbend out after he'd been behind bars for a while. Plus, little Ace Cassadine needs his pater. Right now, Nicholas is serving time for holding awful Esme interned in a palace at Windmere while she was pregnant. But formerly Nicholas is out of captivity. It would be great to see him back in Port Charles reunited with his son Ace, his mama Laura, and his family Lulu. Sky Chandler Quartermain, a wicked return to shake up the family. The third on our list is a woman who's alive, but she has been off-screen for quite a while. And that's Sky Chandler Quartermain. She's Alan Quartermain's son. And if you watched the other detergents, she was also on All My Children and One Life to Live. Sky has been in New York City since 2012, but she's still alive and she could surely return, especially with the Quartermain family front and center right now with lots of drama. I suppose it'd be great for Sky to reconnect with her family. Plus, she's wicked fun. However, she abducted Christina, she blackmailed Tracy, if you do'n't flash back her in the history. And she tried murder. She has ties to some big villains like Faith Roscoe, Anthony Zacchara, and Lorenzo Alcazar. Plus, Sky also had romantic ties to both Ned and Rick, who are both on the oil, so that could be enough intriguing. Tracy would lose it if Sky returned. And it's always delightful to see Tracy bothered. Sky could also come back and side with the other evil Q, Drew Kane. By the way, you're going to want to stick around till the very end. Because the last bone on our list is a huge bone. Someone that suckers are having fits to get back onto General Hospital. Jerry Jacks, the return of a fabulous and sexy megavillain. Number 4 on our list of characters suckers would love back as megavillain Jerry Jacks. He's super wicked but also super sexy. And I would love to have Sebastian Roche back to General Hospital. He's the big bad big family of Jasper Jacks, making him Jocelyn's uncle. Jerry's list of crimes is absolutely fabulous. He shot Robin Scorpio, faked her death, and also stockpiled her down. Jerry tried to abduct Michael and Christina when they were little kiddies. He was incompletely to condemn when Michael got shot in the head as a little sprat. Jerry poisoned all of Port Charles's water force, but he also made Alexis Davis swoon. And she could use a little excitement in her life. Jerry was a top-league villain and it would be wild to have him back, perhaps indeed conspiring with the current big bad villain in Port Charles right now, Valentine Cassadine. Nellie Benson, could Willow's evil twin return from the grave? Next on the list, number 5, is a she-villain who's apparently dead and gone, but the way she failed left plenitude of room for a return. Can you imagine if Nellie Benson came back? Michael thinks Willow's gone dark, but she's got nothing on her binary, Nellie from hell. Willow loves Wiley and hates the veritably idea of her binary, but Nina would love to have a shot to get to know her other son. Of course, Nina felt like Carly cheated her out of that chance by keeping Nellie's identity as her son a secret. And also Carly watched as Nellie fell off a precipice into a swash. While they did mention latterly that her body was set up way downstream, we no way saw it. That could have been a setup done by Dawn of Day members, the cult she married into when Nellie got hitched to wicked Shiloh Archer while they were both in captivity. Spencer Cassadine, a fan-favorite heir-at-law presumed dead, our sixth returnee that we know suckers would like to have back, is one of the each-time most missed characters. And that's Spencer Cassadine. This character has been adored since he was a mischievous, unseasonable little sprat played by Nicholas Bechtel. And also when they did the Soras, aged-up recast with Nicholas Chavez, suckers just really fell in love with him, indeed more. It would actually be great to have both Nicholas Cassadine and his son Spencer back. However, his body was no way set up when he and evil Esme fell into the frigid waters of the River Seine back in France in early 2024, if you flash back. Spencer's been presumed dead, but there were hints indeed at the time that he apparently drowned that he survived. Plus, with Trina visiting France fairly constantly, suckers have been wondering if she might have been visiting Spencer. Now, I misdoubt Nicholas Chavez will come back. Because he's veritably busy with other big systems, but they could always remake Spencer. Sam McCall, the shocking death and demanded return of a GH icon. Last, but not least at all, number 7 on our list is the character that's utmost demanded to return to General Hospital, and that's Sam McCall. Suckers have been irate since Cyrus Renaud boggled her last Halloween. Kelly's abrupt blasting urged a bunch of rumors about confidentially politics that had reportedly been spoiling since Billy Miller got backburnered to make room for Steve Burton in not his most recent return from the dead with Jason, but The Bone. Before that, observers were absolutely rankled that the powers that be fired Kelly and killed off Sam. They were protesting. They rented exchanges to drive by. There was a Times Square billboard that was rented out to protest her death and Kelly's blasting. I know if GH reversed effects and brought Sam back, it would bring huge conditions. Perhaps it'll be one day. We'll see.